Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul glow. We already hit the top charts. If you're really ready, let's go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Payton Jackson be the host. NSC co-host. Coach Shay co-host. Prime time co-host. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul glow. We already hit the top charts. So if you're really ready, let's go. Now wind it up, now wind it up, now wind it up. Don't stop, put the time is up. Don't stop, put the time is up. Now go wind it up, now wind it up. Go wind it up, go wind it up. Go, don't stop till the time is up. Go, don't stop till the time is up. Go, walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in and get some mind right. Tune in and let your soul grow. We already hit the top charts. So if you're really ready, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition, a special edition of Walking His Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Payton Jackson Jr. I'm very excited being back with you once again on this lovely Wednesday night. It is Wednesday, September 28, 2022. We halfway through 2022. We're about to get ready to go into the month of October, which is this coming Saturday, of course. So I hope everybody got everything they want to get done. Got everything they got accomplished on this whole entire year. Like I said, when you started in January of 22, it should be a complete different progress in September. So you got to know where you at, where you want to be at, where you desire to be at. I was looking at the quote before I got onto the air tonight. Michael Jordan said this: some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen. So out of those three, which one are you? Are you the one that want it? Or are you the one that wish it? Or you want to make it happen? Can you remember, life is to be whatever you want it to be. I have a slogan on one of my t-shirts. I create my own universe. I believe I create my own universe about my thought pattern, the way I think. It starts here. It don't start on the outside. It starts here. And if you want to create your own universe, you have to start within. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow is not promised. I'm going biblical for a moment. Christ said this: work while it's day, when it's night, when no man shall work. What mean while you are alive, work. But once it's over with, that's it. So I'm very excited about this awesome young lady I got on my podcast tonight. Very, very prioritized at her age. Some girls around her age, they kind of like don't care, but this girl has discipline about herself. She's very disciplined. She's very motivated. She's self-motivated. So I know she don't need no motivation because she's already self-motivated. She's very determined to be successful, already successful, and she has it on lock. So I'm very excited about having Payton Jackson with me here tonight on the podcast. We're going to be chopping it up tonight, talking about her career, talk about some other exciting things she got going on here in the DFW. She's very active, very involved in the city. She always sharing information on her social media sites. So she's very, very involved when it comes to our community and keeping our ear to the street. And I remember I had this conversation with Coach Shay, co-host here on Impact, and I worked out with her this morning. We started talking about the ant and the grasshopper. Do y'all remember that story growing up, the ant and the grasshopper? For some reason, that just came out of nowhere. And when I was looking it up, the moral of the story was, the story of the ant and the grasshopper teaches us it's important to use your time well and add meaning to your life. If you spend your time productively, you will always find some extra time to pursue your hobbies. Remember the ant. The Bible talks about the ant. The ant was always working, planning ahead. We could learn a lot from the ant. They taught us that in school about hard work, planning ahead. So when the time comes, we can be already ready, correct? Don't be like the grasshopper. The grasshopper wanted to play around, took life for granted. When winter hit, it wasn't even ready. The ant was ready. So we have to be just like that ant. So cherish your time, ladies and gentlemen. Spend your time productively. Don't waste your time. Don't be around people that's gonna waste your time. I'm to the point in my life, like I said, I'm 40. I'll be 41 next April. I want access. I don't need liability. So that's enough about that. But Ms. Jackson, go ahead and introduce yourself here to the audience. We are live streaming, of course. And if you are in the comment section, I encourage you to put hashtag more than a woman in the comment section. So, Ms. Jackson, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience for here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast.
Hi guys, my name is Payton Jackson. I'm an accountant and a real estate investor. And before I mention my age, I want you to guess it really quick because you mentioned it vaguely at the beginning. How old do you think I am?
In your 20s?
Yeah.
That's good. That means, you know what? When you're 26, correct? Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's a little too accurate. Wait a minute. Who do you know? Oh, I just posted though. I just I'm sorry.
No, but you know what? I like your mindset at your age. You know why? Because you have integrity. You have character about yourself. You're not one of these loose girls who want to shake your ass and everything else. You have character, and I respect that about you, Ms. Jackson. That's why I wanted you to be on the podcast, because I like your style.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But you go ahead and finish.
That's pretty much it. I've been an accountant for a few years now. I've studied finance for almost a decade, roughly. And I've studied the real estate market here in Texas for 3-4 years.
Awesome. And you've been pushing it ever since then.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know you also doing not just that, but I know you've been doing some campaigning work as well in the political arena. With Jika Williams, great woman, great character. I had on the show last year, and I know that time is coming up. So I know you really been helping out with that, with grinding, field work, talking to people, getting in people's faces, getting in people's ear. How has that experience been for you? Is that something you always wanted to do, or that you just walked into it?
I kind of was thrown into it early last year, and anybody that truly knows me knows that I'm an introvert. I'm not what a typical people person looks like. Like I said, I'm an accountant. So if you know anything about accountants, we're black and white. But it definitely changed my outlook on life, on the community, getting more involved, the importance of voting, and not waiting every 4 years to vote for just the president, but getting more involved in what's going on in the community, what the community needs, and who's running the community.
Right. And we know that stuff is important. I know a lot of times, especially, I don't want to put as Black people or people of color, but I'll just say people in genre, how we just don't care a lot for politics. We just don't care. We just base it off the color of a person's skin, whether they gender, race, whatever. But I remember Martin Luther King said it's not about the color of the man's skin, it's about the content of their character. So I believe politics should be based on the content of a person's character, would mean study their background, study their history, work ethic. It don't matter what color it is. If they're the best qualified candidate for the position, then why not put them in? So, like I said, I know you've been having fun with that and all that other stuff. But I know you are accounting, of course. So, was you always fascinated with numbers growing up as a little girl?
Yes, I've loved numbers for as long as I could possibly. I've always loved numbers. Math has always been my subject.
Awesome. And how dealing with numbers, I know I ain't gonna lie, math was one of my weakest subjects in school. But just making a career out of it, being in accounting, how long have you been in the field of being an accountant? I know you're very young, but
Well, I graduated last year with my bachelor's in accounting. And you don't need a degree to be an accountant, but you should definitely have a degree in accounting to be an accountant. And then that took 4 years, so 5, 6 years.
Okay. Okay. And working with numbers. And I know I gave you some questions, of course. I know you responded to them. And it's someone I really want to talk about. And you said something that really resonated with me. And I got to pull that up on what you
Go
said
ahead.
because that right there was stay. That's kind of something we talk about here on the podcast. And you said, I asked you this. Let me see. It says, I said, what are your career aspirations? You said to change what they teach us in school or change what we teach ourselves at home. I want to talk about that.
Go ahead.
We know we've been taught a lot of things growing up. We was taught a lot of things in school. We were never taught to be free thinkers, if that makes sense.
Not. Of course
we was always taught to think a certain way when it comes to, I don't know your religious beliefs, but we was taught to believe a certain way when it comes to our religious beliefs. When it came to our parents, we were taught to believe a certain way. I'm not knocking parenthood, the parent is important. Right. But the bad information that we got going down our family line, if you question something, you got punished for it. If you question something, you got ridiculed for it. Right. When you respond back to that, what's the main thing as a people, men, women, that we need to relearn when it comes to our education, especially when it comes to home?
The most important thing to me would be self-education. And I'll go on a bit of a tangent here. They're never going to teach us what we need to know in school. They're never going to teach us how to up a system that was built against us. There's no way that they're going to give us that information. The real book ban list, those books were never in school. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Tax-Free Wealth, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Think and Grow Rich, never going to be in school. Well, I don't want to say they're never going to be in school, but they never were in school. Those are the books that we are truly missing. The books that tell you about how to operate in the financial world. Because, I mean, come on. Question, name 2 things outside of basic math and reading that aren't trait specific that you use from high school as an adult.
Don't use science. We don't really use science. Don't use social studies. PE. Oh wow.
Exactly. Why are we basing GPAs off of subjects that we're never going to use ever again in life? And it's due to standardized testing and the fact that these people want us to go to college and endure student loan debt. Like, there's no reason for everybody to go to college. There's no reason to learn PEMDAS. There's no reason to learn a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We don't need chemistry. We don't need calculus. We don't need geometry. It's questionable whether or not we need history. But I don't want any smoke with the history. History is important, and yes, it shouldn't repeat itself, but it's literally repeating itself.
And let me ask you this, Payton. Like I said, we talk about all this kind of stuff here on the podcast because we have to bring enlightenment to people. You know, we've been sheep for so long. You know, if we look at a sheep will be one of the dumbest animals around. You don't know, you can leave the gate open and the sheep is going to stand there. It's not going to go out. Right. But and I totally agree. Especially when it comes to college, I believe college should be free. I mean, if you want to be, not say that, because if you want to be if they want to be a productive citizen in society, why has to be a high price on education? Why? And deep, like I said, people getting all this student debt, and then a lot of people don't go into the field they got their degree in.
Right. They're not even using it.
And they're paying all this debt, and it's just ruining people. And I think really that they've made it a deal now where if you don't pay they take your Social Security percentage of the Social Security if you don't pay your student loan, and that's like, wow.
I don't put it past them. I don't know about it, but I don't put it past them.
Yeah, and I think they have passed the bill on that. You have to look it up, but if you don't pay your student loan, they would take percentage of your Social Security out of it. So form fashion, they want to take it out. And I know home. That's what I really want to focus on at home. And you said something about relearning at home. You know, parents supposed to pay the child for life. There's a lot of conversation growing up that we never talked about. It's a lot of things we turn a blind eye to, and that's why a lot of us, we had these wondering, curious minds, because we never talked about certain things at home. And I know you mentioned that in the question. Elaborate on that too as well, so people understand what you meant about that when you say we're learning things at home.
Well, when you said parenthood is important, it really is. But if we don't educate ourselves, why are we trusting the same school system to educate our children?
I agree.
We're out buying designer, and I'm speaking on minorities in general, but I'm specifically speaking to Black people. We're out buying designers, we're renting for 20 years. We're not doing the self-education it takes to make a difference. Yes, it is extremely hard to get a mortgage. Yes, we weren't taught financial literacy in school. We weren't taught about the 5 factors of credit, but all of this is Googleable. Google University, YouTube University. If we can spend all day on Facebook, and if Facebook is the first book that you pick up in the morning, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you're not actively reading, and if you stop educating yourself when you stop going to school, that's a problem.
And I agree with that because, okay, scriptures tells us my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they rejected it. You know, this is what God was saying. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So we let you know that the lack of knowledge on our part is a big big problem in our society today.
Absolutely.
Like you said, we're allowing school teachers to teach our kids, okay? Where's to the point where we have to have parents more involved as well?
Absolutely.
Because teachers only can do so much. Okay.
Absolutely.
The job of the teacher is to provide education, math, reading, you name it. But when it comes to life, the parent, the mother, the father has to prepare the child for life. But it's like we allow, okay, you said when summertime, you know, some parent be ready for school to start back because they treat school like it's a daycare.
Wait a minute. Okay. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm saying I kind of look at the public school system like daycare. Free day. It's not free, but daycare. And it goes back to what's being taught. Outside of basic math and reading, none of that stuff is useful.
Right.
You're never going to, they're so focused on standardized testing, on STAR and tax tests. What are we learning? Can we switch out a mental health class? Can we start learning about credit? Can we make high school about learning trades instead of so focused on college? They're never going to use the periodic table unless you're a chemist.
Yeah.
So I look at it like social, sports, and daycare. And originally that's what it was. That's how high school started. High school was created to keep older kids out of the workforce. Oh, now, really? Who came up with the curriculum? Not sure, but it's a waste of time.
Yeah, and I agree.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
No, I was just going to say, but what are we doing as parents to close that gap? But if we're lost this as the students, and we're in a rat race, and we're so focused on paying bills and and going to work the next day, we're just as lost as the students.
And I agree.
We're just trying to get them to the age of 18.
And I agree because we're, like you mentioned, on this rat race. We are on this rat race. We paying bills. We trying to keep up with the cares of the world, and we forgetting the little simple things. I remember back in the 90s, getting a trade was very important. You know, they had trades, and you don't even hear about trades no more. Like you said, they mention college, we don't hear nothing about trades. Like you tell someone about a trade, they treat trade like it's some type of poor man success, and it's not. It's a lot of people that got trade who making millions of dollars now when it comes to mechanic work, air conditioning work. You know, people got trades like that, and they use it on as a side business to make money. But when you talk about that kind of stuff, everybody more focused more on the athlete, the entertainer. But stuff like that, people overlook that. That's really ridiculous. It's crazy. They put it, it's like it's nothing there. Like, oh, there's nothing society about that.
I'll have to chuck that up to ignorance. On our end, ignorance on our end, but on outside races, they're doing it on purpose, downplaying trades. If more people were focused on trades versus a college or a university, more people would register their business with the state. As soon as you get an LLC or some type of corporation with the state, you can utilize corporate taxation. The more people that utilize corporate taxation, the more tax breaks. The more tax breaks, the government has to change the tax code because nobody's paying taxes. So now, but our people, we're not educated on that.
Right.
We didn't even make that system. They did. So we don't even know what corporate taxation is. When we think taxes, we waiting on the refund. There is no refund when you're in a different tax bracket, and we don't know that.
You talking about some really interesting stuff tonight. And I noticed people of color, we get so excited about a refund. Why is that? You don't see any other races posted about a refund. It's just like in our community, we get so excited about a refund.
Tax season, and we start talking about it in January. January to April, the whole timeline. And
I think we should better change that because people see that type of money. But like, would you get back 5,000? Well, it all depends. So people like that type of money every day, or more than that every day. That kind of stuff don't excite them.
I equate that to the welfare system because it's a mindset. Like you can't make a certain amount and get a refund. Like you have to stay under a certain amount, and it's the same thing with stamps. It's the same thing with Medicaid. Housing, you can't make a certain amount and keep that stuff. So it's a mentality. You have to let go of that refund to get into that next tax bracket.
Awesome. I know another thing I asked you about. I asked you what's your best career decision you made. You said real estate. Why real estate?
Absolutely. I love real estate.
So elaborate on why real estate of all things.
I had a mentor, a Black woman. And when I say mentor, a lot of people hear that word and get intimidated, like that requires money. Now, if you want an in-depth, in-person, consistent, dedicated mentor, then you're going to come out of pocket. But I met this woman on YouTube. Her name is Noelle Randall, and she owns a business called New Res. And it's a real estate crowdfund where a whole group of people, they come together, they put together money, and she buys the real estate and she lists them on Airbnb. She has some in Texas, but most of them are in Florida next to Disney World. And when I seen her, like she caught my attention. I studied her and I watched her for a while, and then it just clicked one day, and I was like, if she could do it, I could do it. It wasn't an envious thing. It was a motivation thing. So my first dabble into real estate were two crowdfund. Well, no, it was one crowdfund at first, which was her company. And then I brought my first property, which was or is a duplex, a condo in Dallas.
Okay, awesome. Congratulations on that as well.
Yeah.
So your mindset, the way you think,
Mm-hmm.
how long have you been thinking like this for? How long have you been enlightened or awakened? Because I'm not just basing on age, because it's very rare that, as a woman at your age is thinking the way you think, because it's like girls around your age, they more into partying and clubbing and fashion, but that's very rare that your mindset is like that. And that's
Right.
truly awesome. How long have you been thinking like that? How long have your mindset been like this? Man?
Well, I definitely don't want to give you just a straight out number and pretend like I wasn't one of those girls, because 2015 was my year. If anybody knew me in 2015, they know. But I got out of that mindset because, yeah, it's fun at the time, but I was raised off of survival. I didn't have anything handed to me. I've been working since the age of 15, and I've been on my own since about 16 or 17. And it's always been go, 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 and never look back. My childhood was not the best, and I just knew that I didn't want to return back to where I had to struggle. In high school, certain parts of high school, I was homeless. So if I could do anything to avoid my past, that's just what I've been doing since then.
So you always had urgency about yourself, where
Yes.
you had to depend on yourself, and you didn't want to, you could not depend on nobody. You had to depend on yourself. So that was already embedded in you since that time. And you've been going stronger ever since then. Like you said, you don't want to go back. And I love
Absolutely.
that. And keep doing what you're doing and keep making an impact. And I know, like I said, you're doing the campaign thing. And I know talk about that and stuff like that. So okay. Will there be more for that for you in the near future? Or it's just something you're just doing right now, or you see yourself investing into that aspect of your life?
Campaigning?
Yeah, campaigning.
Um, I'll definitely. It depends. It depends. If the candidates that I know and the politicians that I know are up for re-election, then they know that they can call on me. But as far as campaigning, I don't see that becoming a job. I'm more so just wanting to be more involved in what the community needs.
No, so I know by doing that, they give you more insight on what's going around in the communities, what's going around with people in general, and just
Mm-hmm.
give you a whole new broad. I know being open minded is very important, to be open minded, because as people, we're supposed to constantly evolve every day.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, some people stop, but I tell you, an individual that's constantly evolving every day, because what Payton did yesterday, you're gonna do something completely different tomorrow, because we
Right.
constantly involved and stuff like that. And I know, and I asked you what your strength was, and you said self-education and mindset, that you consider your greatest strength. So they can strip everything else from you,
Right.
but they can't take your mind. If they take your mind, they got you.
Right.
When you say self-education and mindset, elaborate on that. When you say that you consider that your greatest strength.
Mindset, I want to say I'm unstoppable. And I mean that in the humblest way possible. I don't stop when I hear no. That sounds bad. Hold up. Wait. I don't, when someone tells me no, it doesn't. Okay, that still
You
sounds
don't.
bad.
When you say that, it don't break you, because you know why? Because
Yeah. Okay. So I eat no for breakfast,
right,
and by lunchtime the deal is closed. This is what I meant.
right,
But
because
my head just went somewhere else.
you know
Um.
why? Because you know who
Why?
you are. That's why. Go ahead.
Right. Right. That, and if I could recommend any self-help book, it would be The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. The first mentor that I paid for, she recommended that book. I wish I would have picked it up when she first told me about it, but when I did get around to reading it, it changed my life. The Secret. So that I would contribute to my or attribute to my mindset. And self-education, I would say the importance of that is if you're lacking in any subject, whether it's finances, mental health, spiritual, anything but fantasy or mystery, read something that's actually going to help you progress in life, and just pick up a book. You pick up a book. You may not think you have time, but if you're on social media, you have time. And everybody's on social media. Take it one book at a time, one chapter at a time. Don't rush through it. Read to comprehend.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's why this conversation came earlier today about the ant and the grasshopper. And just like I mentioned earlier, the importance of the ant and the grasshopper says if you know the story of the ant and the grasshopper, I'm repeat that again. The story of the ant and the grasshopper teach us it's important to teach us to use your time well and add meaning to your life. Hey, what the first thing come to mind when I mentioned that, when it said teach us to add meaning to our life and how important it is for us to utilize our time. Because we know time is something that we can never get back. Some people hate to have their time wasted. I'm one of the ones I hate to have my time wasted.
That's the biggest insult. Waste my money, I'm gonna be mad. But waste my time, you're definitely gonna see a different Payton. I would say first thing that came to mind would be intentional about your routine. And I want to say I would have to attribute to my mindset as well to my or based off of my routine, because that exercise in the morning, if I ran a mile or two before anybody woke up, I'm unstoppable. And I'm not doing it for a physical gain. Exercising for me is more mental than it is physical. That's where I work out most of my problems. And then I get through my day and I make sure I read at least 10 to 20 pages a day. And it's intentional reading. It's not mystery. It's not fantasy. It's intentional. What's going to push me into the next chapter of my life? And with that intentional routine, the exercising, the mindset, the staying positive throughout the day, not letting the workplace irritate you. Because if you're Black or a minority and you're going into corporate America, you already know what I mean. But just battling through that, and then if you have kids coming home and doing that whole routine, just being more intentional about that and how that's going to progress you into the next chapter of your life, so you don't feel stagnant, so you don't feel like you're in a rat race. Because if you're stagnant, then you're not going anywhere. Then the kids aren't going anywhere. Their kids aren't going anywhere. What's next for you? I think I ask everybody that. Whenever we circle back around and meet back up, what's next for you? Okay, so you accomplished this, what's next?
That's it. That's deep stuff right there. And before we came on the air tonight, I was looking. I'm an average book reader. I love reading books. I have my own personal library at home. That's one of my greatest things. And it's a book called The Alchemist. It's a book that's very familiar. It's about Paulo Coelho, and it has a lot of gems in this book. And I just want to read a passage here. You remember growing up, you probably used to hear this phrase, "I'm looking forward to the future." You hear people say it all the time. Well, it talks about it. It tells us this. It says, if you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. And if you improve on the present, what comes later will also be better. Forget about the future and live each day according to the teachings, confidence that God loves His children. Each day in itself brings with eternity. But I'm going to repeat that. It said, if you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. If you improve on the present, what comes later will also be better. If you still doing the same thing in your present, you're just going to repeat the same thing in the future.
Absolutely.
That's why it says in the present, improve upon it. So what do you want to change about yourself? What things you want to unlearn and relearn, because you're going to repeat the same thing in the future.
Exactly.
And we was always programmed to think, man, my future's going to be good. My future's going to be bright. But if I'm still being poor me, why me? I suck. I'm not good enough. Okay, it's gonna be poor me in the future. It's gonna be why me in the future. It's gonna be why I suck. It's gonna be I'm not good enough in the future. So you have to change your mindset. You have to improve right now. So okay. Once you take care of your present, of course your future it's gonna be taken care of.
Absolutely.
But if not, you're gonna repeat the same thing again. So what you want to say about that? You want to shout? I know you got some stuff you probably want to say on that one.
Two things. The first one, I don't know who this quote is from, but I live by it. If you want to know who a person is, look at their habits. If you continue, like you just said, if you continuously do the same thing, that's who you're going to be tomorrow. You have to change your habits. You have to. And you have to form your habits to fit the future you. You have to base your habits off of the future you, whoever you want to be, to create that future you. The second thing, God sent you to tell me that. Because if it's one thing about me, I am super, super focused on the future to where sometimes I cannot enjoy the present. And that if I can change anything about myself, that would be it.
Yeah, because I had this book. Okay, reason I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I've been living here in Dallas. December 18th will make it 2 years, and I transitioned. And I brought the book when I was home. And I seen that spoke to me. Anytime I read books, Payton, and it gets my attention, I highlight a lot of stuff and I go back over it and I put it in my notes. Because I believe, I ain't gonna say I don't believe, I'm a student of the game. I'm to the point in my life where I'm constantly being a student. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't very disciplined in my teens. My 20s, hell no, I wasn't very disciplined. 30s, I lacked bad. But it's like when I hit 40, my mindset clicked because I constantly want involved. And I look as a man, I'm speaking from a man perspective, I'm thinking long term now.
Right.
Being more prioritized. It's not about relationships. It's not about I gotta get with a woman. It's all about working on being a better man. And I tell younger guys, single guys, focus on you being a man first. Learn you first. That's another thing as well. We'll never taught to learn ourselves. With women, okay, when y'all grew up, women, independent, stepped out on their own, made life happen. Some guys don't think like that. They just, I'm moving in with my girlfriend, I'm moving in with friends, but never had that point to where I need to live on my own. When I say live on my own, knowing yourself, learning yourself, having some urges about yourself, learning some priorities about yourself. That's why I'm at in my life. Being more prioritized, having more urgency, strong work ethic, discipline. You gotta be more disciplined. We hear motivation all the time, but what about discipline? Discipline brings on success, and I do believe that. And another thing, Payton, my philosophy is nobody's not gonna knock on my front door and tell me to get my life together. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
You can wish upon a star all you want to, and it's not gonna happen. You gotta make it happen. If not, you're gonna be why, or it's gonna be why me, poor me. No, it's not that. That's mindset, and the mind does play tricks on us as well if we're not careful. Because there's a song back in the day, your mind playing tricks on you. The mind does play tricks on you if you're not careful. And I know a woman of your expertise and you setting the standard, you raising the bar, of course, and I respect that. I get unto do. When you mentioned something earlier about working out, do you have that mentality that you don't want nobody to outwork you?
See, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of times, I don't know if it's this generation or people or just society as a whole, we tend to look at the next person and compare circumstances or whatever. I don't compare myself to anyone. I'm not better than anyone, but I know no one is better than me. And I say that in the most humblest way possible. So I don't want anybody to get offended, but I say that, and it's based off of how I operate on a day-to-day basis. If I wake up in the morning and I'm destined to beat who I was yesterday, then I've done the best thing that I could ever do for myself. That's the only person that I'm comparing myself to, is who I was yesterday. And as long as I beat her, I'm winning and I'm unstoppable.
So that's what. So you in competition with yourself.
Yeah,
That's a good thing. That's always a good thing because we can be in competition. You got to think about. Michael Jackson had the song back in the day, "Man in the Mirror." Our own worst enemy is us. So in other words, I gotta kick Furman's ass every day because only I hold myself back. So you have that mentality, okay, I can only hold myself back. And you're not blaming nobody else. Okay, if I fall short, I fall short because it falls on me, not on you.
right.
Because I know a lot of people point the fingers, and I call it the Adam and Eve syndrome when you point the finger to other people.
Right.
Because when sin came in and God went to Adam, instead of Adam being the man to take responsibility, he said, it was that woman you gave me. So basically, he was saying it was God's fault. Then went to Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. And I call it the Adam and Eve syndrome, which is transpired today.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not successful and I point the finger at you, it's your fault I'm not successful. It's your fault I'm not succeeding. But not looking at self in the mirror. Because we could be our own worst enemy. You get a lot of people, the devil be. No, it be us.
Right.
We our own worst enemy. But then it's like people don't want to be accountability. Let's talk about the accountability. How important to you as a woman of your stature is accountability? How important is accountability to you?
Let's break it down into areas. That was probably the wrong answer. Business-wise, 100%. 100%. And as an entrepreneur, I think anybody would say 100%. If you founded your business and it's just you, 100%. It's on me. There's nobody coming to save me. So I mean, I'm accountable for whatever I allow to transpire. Family-wise, 100%. Now, relationship-wise, I'm working on that. And that's just 100% honesty, but I'm kind of like 75%.
Well, hey, at least you're being honest and stuff like that.
Right.
With the expertise, like I said, we are live streaming right now on Facebook Live, of course. So if you're in the comment section for hashtag more than a woman, let us know that you're with us tonight. If you have any questions, you have any comments, I'll be glad to read them on tonight as well. So we got a lot of people that are watching. Big shout out to George B. Brooks. Big shout out to Latoya Smith. Big shout out to Pamela Edmond and Rita Israel. And we got quite a few people watching us right now. We thank everybody for liking. Hit the hearts up, hit those thumbs up, hit those cares up. Like, share, comment, because it's all about excellence. And that's what we hear on the podcast too. It's all about excellence. So let's talk about relationships. This is something we came to talk about last night too, relationships. When you at a certain stage in your life, and it's just, I believe, in my opinion, that you don't allow any and anybody just to come in and interrupt your flow. I believe I'm building my kingdom. I'm building my empire. So I can't allow any liabilities to come in. So at a certain level in your life, how do you said 75% comes to a relationship. So are you at that level now, get to that level where you're not going to allow anybody just come in and try to interrupt your flow? You got some who could be an asset, and you got somebody who could just be a liability. And if you do, how do you discern between the assets and liability? Let me ask you that. How can you discern between your assets and the liability?
Finances aside. Okay, hold on, because I want to specify that. Financial assets are what's actively bringing money into your pockets. Liabilities draining your pockets. A primary residence is not an asset. You can turn it into one though. Now, as a relationship, I'm still trying to figure that out. Now, what would be an asset to me within a relationship is someone that I can depend on, someone that I can call during those bad days. And even if it's just to vent or to problem solve, if you can do that for me, then you're an asset. But if I call you with a problem and, oh, dang, what you gonna do? You're taking up space. that you're allowed to. You're wasting time.
I totally agree with that, and I have conversations like this all the time, and it's like when it comes to the aspect, I'm speaking from a man perspective again. Men, we look for comparability. That's why I'm at. I'm looking for comparability. Someone I could be comparable with. Not saying on everything, but on certain things. When it comes to future planning, finances, when it comes to family structure, having that all in the opening. Because I'm not married, but I want to have a successful marriage. I want to have successful children. I believe in that. Some people don't believe in that. People believe, oh, there's always going to be problems. No, because you say that because that's your mindset. That shows me you don't believe in yourself. But yeah, I want to have a successful marriage. I want to have a successful family. I want to have a successful generation. So that stuff plays a role for me. I just can't entertain any and everybody. I don't care how good looking you look.
Absolutely.
It's all about your character now. I want to know your
Absolutely.
character. What makes you feel worthy? Okay, I feel you worthy enough to take it to that level because one, your image is on the line, your time is on the line, and I know you don't want your time wasted.
Absolutely not.
At all.
That's the biggest insult.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are now talking about community. Well, I know people now are communicating now when it comes to the relationship aspect, talking about everything now, which is important because I remember this story years ago, and this story sticks with me to this day. It was this preacher. He about to get ready to marry this couple. Before they got married, the preacher asked the man, before you make this commitment, have you really thought about what you're getting into? The guy responds, you see how fine she is. The preacher asked him again, before you make this commitment to this woman, are you ready to deal with the thing that she's dealing with, things she got going on? Are you willing to deal with it before you make that commitment? His response was, you see how fine she is. Guy with her, filed for divorce. He was trying to get him to see the big picture. Before you make these commitments, sit down and consider the cost. And that's what I have to learn as people. Before you present yourself to a person, it's like, okay, you go out with a person. It's like an interview. You sit down, get to know a person. It's like you go to a job. You're not going to hire any and everybody on your job. You're going to sit down. You're going to do background checks. You're going to ask them questions. You're going to see where they at. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to make that decision whether we're going to make this hire on. A lot of times they're going to offer you a second interview to see to see if anything changed from the last time. So why we can't do that when it comes to relationships? Treat it like that. You know, they might seem, oh, cool. They might seem, oh, man, you being hard. That's being hard. No, time. Big time. Okay, you're an entrepreneur. Let's go that way. You value your time. You're not going to let anybody come into your account, interrupt your time, interrupt your business because your name is on the line. If that makes sense, what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the relationship aspect, I'm not going to entertain any and everybody because my time is important. You should have that mindset. You know why I say that? Because it weeds out a lot of stuff.
Right. But we don't want to take that time because the more questions we ask, the less attractive someone is.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. But people in relationships, for the most part, people are going with face value.
That's not
Are
good.
you a good look for me?
That's not good. And I'm not saying no lower your standard. I'm not saying no lower your standards, but it's all about character. When I talk to a person, I want to know your character. I don't care how fine you look. They're just me. Mm-hmm. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you about to make that life, if we're going to make it to the next step, and vice versa. You should get to know me. Like, I want to know who this dude is, what he's capable of, so that gives me the decision to say, okay, I want to try it out with this dude, and not, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's that evolving that we got going on now, that you value your time. Like, that just.
But think about it. A lot of, and I was about to say men, for me personally, from my experience, a lot of men lie up front. They want to put on this facade, oh, I can do this, so I can do that. They want to impress the woman. I don't understand. I mean, I understand why, but that a lot of men don't understand, like, he loses credibility. I think you posted something similar earlier this morning, and I responded, I was like, your word is your bond.
It is.
If I ever find out that you lied to me as a man, I no longer respect you.
Well, let me say this, Dave. First of all, let me say this. A man that makes excuses is not a man at all. That's the post right there.
At all, yeah.
You don't have to lie to the woman. I'm going to say that. You don't have to lie to women. If they just pay, that's manipulation. They manipulate. Let me tell you what, when it comes to women, they think it's all about between y'all legs, and it's not. It's all about reaching your heart. That's what it's all about. Right. It's all about you treating you like a woman. Women love a man that's ambitious. She loves a man that's a visionary. She loves a man that's a leader. She loves a man that's accountable. She loves a man that has honor. She loves a man that thinks long term. Because see what some of these guys do, they treat y'all like it's. And I'm just gonna be real. They treat y'all like y'all porn stars. They think because they watch that fake stuff on porn, you supposed to drop your pants just like the internet. It don't work like that. And that's what they do. They treat like y'all porn star, like a porn movie. They present themselves with their body parts, thinking that's gonna get your attention, and it don't get your attention. It's manipulation. Like you said, they come offline. If you can't do it, don't do it. Don't go offline and then take you out. They expect you to live, sleep with them in return, and it don't work that way. And then get mad about it. That's just wrong, man. That's just manipulation. So don't manipulate a woman. You like her. If that's what you're all about, then be straight and honest. That's what you're all about. But don't do all this manipulation. And then when you don't get it, you get mad. Oh, you want to get butthurt and want to say women are mean, and they want to go out female nature, and no, it ain't the woman, it's the guys. The guys don't understand. Women don't have time for games. Women peep games, ladies and gentlemen. Women peep games. They know when you about the BS. I'm just
right. Or smart women.
Yeah, you don't manipulate. Don't do that. Yeah, you don't have to. Don't pretend to be something you're not.
Right.
You know, don't pretend to be something that you're not capable of doing. And it's not about it's not about your penis. Some guys leave with their penis, and it's not about that. They think that solves everything, and it don't solve nothing. It don't solve nothing at all. Period. But that's why I believe in sitting down, talking, have a dope conversation. Then that determines where you want to go or not, because time is important for me, you, anybody else.
Absolutely. Because on average, you don't get to know the truth about somebody until you're about 2 years in, 3 years in. That's when the true colors start to come out.
Yeah,
everything that they lie about.
Yeah, because Payton, what it is, I'm gonna say, I had brought this up too, and was talking about the social media. Guys got to realize, women check out your social media. You know why some women ask for your social media account, gentlemen? Because they want to see what you're all about on social media. They want to see, are you bashing women? They want to see, are you being negative? They want to see what type of pictures you have on your social media account. That's why, because they want to know who this dude is. That's why they ask. They don't need to take phone numbers no more. They ask for your social media account because they want to see what type of person you is. That's why they do it for, before they make that consideration. Because they want to see, because y'all want to see, are they bashing women? Are they being negative? Do they have any type of negative images on their social media site? Because like you said earlier, they can portray one thing. You look up his social media site, he doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
So that's why they ask for your social media accounts, fellas, because they want to see who you are. That's what jobs do it now. Even the job market do that now.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, it's called accountability because you don't know, you don't want you entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And also be careful of that. Be mindful of that. So we do a lot of great stuff here on the show tonight, and I'm chopping it up, going back and forth. I like this. And so I just love talking, individuals yourself, babe, because you got a lot to talk about. You have a lot going on. And I know, I think you have a book club or part of a book club as well. Is that correct? How has that been going along as well? Also, talk about book club that you're part of.
Right. So I'm not the founder, I'm not the owner, but I just joined a book club this summer. One of the best things that I could have ever done. I don't like history. It was never my strong suit in school. I love math. It was just never interesting to me. And it wasn't my history. And if you went to school in Texas, it was the Alamo, learning about the United States, and then we got 1 month. I don't know if it's the same in every state, but in Texas, Black History Month is what we learned for Black History. But during this book club, the first book that I hopped on was How the South Won the Civil War. They're never going to put that book in school, I guarantee it. And a piece of me understands why. A part of the truth. I'm sure it's not the whole truth. But if you go out and read that book, I encourage every single American, whether you're a citizen or not, if you live in America, go and read How the South Won the Civil War. Whether you're Native American, Black, white, Asian, Mexican, Hispanic, Chinese, Asian, I just said Asian. If you live in America, go and grab that book. And it just helped me understand the foundation of America after England and how it contributed to where we are now, which is not very different.
You're right, because they do call this Babylon,
right?
that we are in.
Right.
Have you read Willie Lynch? Have you read the book Willie Lynch? I know I had that in my library at home. That's a good book to read.
Willie Lynch?
The Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch was about slavery. It went from the physical to the mental. If you kind of look at, if you read a book, it makes you think about it today. That's a book I have in my library at home, and it's a good read. So read that. It's a good book. So that's very good. It talks about slavery, talk about the slave masters, and it was not physical. It made it. You remember in the Great Debaters? Remember the movie The Great Debaters?
Yeah.
Remember when Denzel said they want to make us strong physically, but make us weak mentally?
Right.
I do believe that.
Oh yeah.
I do believe that because we focus everything on the physical, but when it comes to the mental, we get dumbfounded. We get dumbed down, and that's their purpose. That's their plot, to dumb us down.
Absolutely.
That's why they're distracted with all the different stuff, love and hip hop and fashion and all these music videos and all this foolish stuff, and we're not being educated at all. We're not educating. It's very few people are educating themselves now, more than ever compared to back then. But like I said, we were so easily distracted by what's really going on. And like I said, you have to enlighten a lot of people who are willing to listen. Is everybody gonna listen? No, they're not gonna listen. But it's gonna be a select few who will listen and take heed to the matter. Because I do believe in the knowledge of self. I do believe in that. I do believe that we're how God made us. Right. Revelation 1:6 tells us that we're kings and priests in the earth. I believe in identity, knowing identity. The world tells us we one way, but we need to get back to our spiritual roots. We need to get back to our nature, get back who we truly are, because we are very unstoppable people.
Absolutely.
But it's just the identity. It's like they strip your identity. Just like, remember in Roots, they told Kunta, your name is Toby. You know what I'm saying? But he said, my name Kunta. When he said Kunta, they whooped him. They said, no, your name's Toby. That's how, you might want to say that's how they do it today. You you know who you are, but they're gonna tell you, no, you this. But I know who I am, but they're gonna whoop you again. But no, you're this. So they want to put more pressure on you and pain on you, where we just give up and cave in, but really fight on who we are. Scripture tells us the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but those who endure to the end. It's time for us to start enduring to the end.
Right.
Because if you're strong, you may feel out. If you quit, you're going to feel out. But it's about your endurance. Let me tell you about endurance is everything. You don't understand that. You may not know how to fight, but you have endurance.
Keep going. You
keep going, and you're going to outwork that fighter, because that fighter may not have endurance, but you got the win to succeed. So it's important for us to have that endurance. And like you said, keep fighting.
I feel like we have the endurance because we've been taken through a lot, even today. We're not slaves anymore, not physical slaves at least. But I think it's more of a mindset. Stop taking no for an answer. Find a different way around. There's obstacles in front of every minority, especially Black people. Well, I won't say especially, but there's obstacles in front of us. But we have to take the back routes. We can't take a no, oh, you have to wait, find another way. There's always another way.
So in other words, what you're saying is don't wait for life to happen. You make life happen. Take it. Because the Bible said the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, but the violence take it by force. So you have to become a violent person in order to take it by force. Rejection. You brought up people scared to say no, and I was that cat too, scared of rejection. It's something about that rejection that puts fear in us, because we scared to say no. We scared to say no. Like if a guy likes a girl, he already judging himself. I'm not good enough. She might not like me. She gonna tell me no. But then he never makes that conscious effort to move forward because he's afraid of rejection. And you're not gonna get everybody.
Right.
But it's like when we hear the word no, that just destroys us. Some people don't bounce back from it.
It's understandable to a certain point. I'm not saying be emotionally indestructible, which that's not too much of a bad thing, but don't let it keep you down. I think Les Brown said this: whenever someone tells you no, you need to automatically tell yourself next. Go to the next thing. No, next. No, next. But you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. So you have to at least shoot the ball. If it's a no, it's a no. Just go get your yes.
That's it. And everybody don't say yes all the time. You know how many times people turn down interviews on the show? That don't stop me from not doing the show.
And it shouldn't.
I still move on because somebody's going to say yes eventually.
Right.
That goes thing in life. If somebody tell you no, don't get mad. And people get mad. And we talked about this on the podcast of a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about rejection stories. And I ain't going to lie. Women, y'all have it hard when it comes to rejection with these guys. I read horror stories online where some guys would take women's lives literally, and that's sad, over a rejection.
Yeah.
And this story you read online, like, why would you get that upset because somebody told you no?
It's an internal issue.
That you want to take someone's life because they told you no.
Right.
So let me ask you this. I know you mentioned mental health, and I know the mental health thing has been coming up as of late. Traumatized. And I know a lot of guys have been traumatized. They've been child. Yeah, it's the book that I have, Laws of Human Nature. You ever read that book before? That's a good book, The Laws of Human Nature.
If I know I haven't read it, but I think it's on my book list. I have like a 200 list of books. So it's probably on the book list. But
Laws of Human Nature talks about narcissism. It talks about traumatized, and it talks about how a lot of time in the book how we've been traumatized as children, and we deal with that traumatized through the years, and then it catches up with in our adulthood. And I know, especially guys, we was never taught to communicate. We was always taught to be tough.
Right.
But we dealt with a lot of internal stuff. And what happens, we take that stuff out on a woman because it's something we dealt with in our childhood that we never got the help in. So when you talk about mental health, getting counseling, I know you think that should be important to get the help that we need to get in order to be healed. I do believe in healing. The Bible speaks that we confess our faults one to another and confess our faults, then we shall be healed. So I believe healing need to take place. But I believe any individual should be healed before they bring someone else into their life, because you don't want to bring nobody in your life and you're wounded and you're still bleeding internally, because that person don't deserve that extra baggage in their life.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to be that, because that's you become selfish. So now this person being stuck in your issue that you should have been dealt with a long time ago, that you're gonna let that ugly monster turn his head, or this individual do something, it triggers you off, and you go and take. And that's something I don't believe in. I don't believe in putting my hands on a woman. I never did that. That's not my intent. I don't like it, period. But some people do that stuff. I don't believe in putting your hands on a woman. If you're doing that, man, you need to go to jail for that. If you're doing that, fellas, or whatever.
But a lot of people in our community, specifically Black men, because I know a lot of Black women that go to therapy, a lot of Black men shun therapy. I guess, I don't know why. If I had to pick a wild guess, I would say that they think that it's for crazy people. And it is to a certain extent, but you don't have to be crazy to invest into your mental health. If you feel some type of way, talk to somebody about it. But I would suggest going to talk to a professional. And when I say a professional, I don't mean it in a bad way. They're just licensed to help you. That's all I mean by professional. But back to healing before you jump into a relationship, a lot of people don't like being alone. They don't know how to be alone. They feel unsafe being alone. Because when you're alone, you have to think. And if you are still trying to figure out your trauma or even acknowledge your trauma, thinking and overthinking is probably the worst thing that you can do if it's not productive, because most of the time it's destructive. Like, what did I do to deserve that? You're putting all the blame on you, or it's a rapid cycle on what happened to you and why God allowed this to happen, and it's not building you up whatsoever. So they go and they jump from relationship to relationship, not trying to figure out where did I go wrong? One, in the relationship, but two, you have to heal your inner child. You have to. Like you said, if you go and grab somebody and you're bleeding from the inside, you're definitely going to bleed on that person, and they don't deserve that.
They don't, because hurt people hurt people. You know, if you still hurt, hurt people hurt people. And mentioned about that, because as guys, as men, as whatever, it's our pride, our ego. We have to humble ourselves. You know, that's why some guys don't want an independent woman. I like an independent woman. And I'm saying why I like an independent woman for, because before I met you, you had your own place. You pay your own bills. You was taking care of yourself. What man don't want that? Because that shows her. That shows him. God forbid, if anything happened to me, she know how to hold it down, because she's already equipped. So what guy don't want that? You know what I'm saying? Some
I
guys.
can name a few guys that don't want that.
But I love an independent woman, because I know I'm thinking long term. Like I said, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about legacy. I'm thinking about kingdom. I'm thinking about empire. And I'm thinking about, like I mentioned earlier, I want to have a successful marriage. I want to have a successful church. You have to have that mix with somebody who already got that work ethic, got that mindset. So I love an independent woman. Give me an independent woman any day, because she know how to hold it down. I don't want nobody who don't know what they doing. That's crazy to me. That's me. Yeah. Go ahead.
I won't say a lot. There's a few men that don't like that. I don't really know why, outside of the controlling aspect. Because if I'm financially dependent on you, then I financially need you. But I always had the mindset of, if I'm coming to you and I'm independent, I'm holding down everything before I met you, then if we're together, you know that I like you for you and not your money. But men don't, well, I won't say men, some men don't view it.
Because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. Because like I said, God forbid something happened to you, she knows how to hold it down. And that's good. It's not wrong with an independent woman. I'm saying that from a man. It's not wrong with that, because if something happens, you know what to do. It's not wrong with that. That's a great asset. That's not a liability, because some guys they want a dumb woman. I don't know why, but it is. They want someone they can manipulate, and they want somebody they control. She don't know how to cook. She don't know how to clean. She don't know how to pay bills. She don't have them. Don't have their driver license. But for some reason, they want that type of woman in life. But then that's not good, because something happened.
It's a control thing. If she's dependent on him, she can't function without him. He feels needed. Men like to feel needed. And independent women, depending on the woman, you also have to deal with the independent woman mindset, character, and how she moves throughout the day. Because if she's independent, that means that she has to be masculine in her workplace. Especially if she's a Black woman, she has to lay down the law at work. It is mandatory. For people to take her serious, she has to be a boss. And men, they don't like that mindset, because we're not backing down just because you said something. Now, if you could properly lead and show me, okay, this is the plan. Yes, sir. You got it. But if you don't come with a plan, I'm not following you. I'm not listening to you.
Right. Right. Because once again, because women want something to work with. Y'all want something to work with. If a guy's not giving y'all nothing to work with, you out the door. And they don't understand that. They think it's about between the legs, and it's not. If a woman see you investing in yourself, she's gonna pour into you, because she's gonna reap the benefits off of it, and he's gonna do the same thing for her.
Absolutely.
He wants something to work with. You don't want a guy when he come to you and he tell you, hey, what we gonna do now? You're like, dude, I can't be around you because you don't know what to do. You depending on me for wisdom. And that's wrong, because women do bring healthy counsel to the man, but they got to do bring peace. Got to do bring that present about yourself, that aura about yourself. So that's a good thing. Okay, it's some things that you can see and know. All you have to do is learn how to humble himself and say, you know what? Let's try it your way. Because we don't know everything. You're not going to get everything. That's why the Bible said to help me. She helps alongside you. And first of all, you don't walk in front of me. You don't walk behind me. You walk on the side of me. That's what kings and queens do. You ever look, the king and queen, they sit beside each other.
Right.
And we just got to get that mindset. Okay, we work together.
Right.
You remember the song with Neo and Fabulous back long, like in the mid 2000s? Okay, in the song he says, I'm a movement by myself, but we are a force when we are together.
Yes.
Even though I'm good all by myself, but you make me better.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. You have to be good by yourself. And that goes for both sides.
Right.
It truly goes for both sides. But if you're not healed as a man, like I hear men say, oh, well, do you bring peace? Okay. Why are you asking me to bring you inner peace? Red flag. Your inner peace is up to you. You need to figure out what's wrong. And then, I won't bring you drama. I won't bring you trouble. I bring that type of peace, but I can't bring you inner peace, sweetheart. You need to go talk to God or a therapist or both. But I can't bring you inner peace. But before I get off on that tangent, you have to lead. You have to create that space. I truly think that women are naturally submissive if you give us the environment to be submissive. If you don't have a plan for yourself, why are you even approaching me?
Wow.
That's not attractive. I don't want to. And when I say this, please, I don't want to take offenses, but I don't want to help you build up to where I am. If I'm going to help you build, it's to elevate us both, not to build you up to where I am.
Gotcha. I like that. There's nothing wrong with you saying. You saying a mouthful tonight on the show. Because, I see, you know what it is? Let me say this, Paige. Some of these guys think the game has changed. They think it's hard to get with y'all. It's not hard to get with y'all. It's that everything's still the same because you guys are not ambitious. They don't have vision. They're not making things happen. You shouldn't be living with your mama anyway. At a certain age, you should move out your mama house.
Big on it.
This stuff is important. And they want to say, oh, she did me. She did. No. Women want something to work with, fellas. Give them something to work with. If you don't have anything to the table, they're not going to come. Vice versa for the man. A man wants something. If he see, like I said, independent woman. If I see a woman, she about her business. She keeps herself up. She has intelligence about herself. She has integrity about herself. That's the type of woman you should want on your team. You don't want a dumbfounded woman. She got to be dumb because you're looking at her because her body. What's in her mind?
Right.
What's her character all about? I'm like I said, mentioned earlier, I'm all about character. I don't care how fine you is. I want to know your character. I want to know, are you capable of my last name? Are you capable of me putting a ring on your finger? Because I'm thinking long term. Like I said, I'm thinking about a successful marriage. Take two people have a successful marriage.
Absolutely.
Successful children. I believe in that. It may seem people might say, "Oh man, that's a fantasy. That's not reality." I create my own reality. I think like that.
Right.
I want to have successful children. So what I need to have a successful woman in order to have successful children. So both of us got to be successful in our DNA.
Right.
If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Right. Absolutely.
Man, that's some good stuff. So I know we pressed for time, of course. I know we passed the mark and got to chop it up again soon. So do you have, let me ask you this, Payton. How do you see your legacy? After all is said and done, entrepreneur, doing all this great stuff, how do you view your legacy?
One day they are going to mention my name with the Rockefellers.
Okay. Big time. Big time.
No doubt about it.
So let me ask you this. You read about the Rockefellers?
Oh yeah, I just finished the book.
Okay. You know, I love a woman that reads books. It's just something about a woman that reads books to get my attention. It's like,
something about a man, a black man specifically that reads books.
Oh, I mean, I love reading books, man. If you read, the best date to me is a bookstore.
Right.
Look at the king. How you doing, king? Look, king right there.
This is my only heir. One and done.
That's a king right there. Keep up the great work as well. So, motherhood, businesswoman, more than a woman. This is a great episode. So, we're getting up the air. So, Payton, you have any final remarks you want to leave for the audience? Because, like I said, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify as well as Anchor.
Self-education. Go grab a book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Tax-Free Wealth, Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich. Any area that you're lacking in that's going to help you in reality to push you into that next chapter, go out and do it.
And that's what's up right there. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Kenneth. Kenneth said, shout out to Fabulous in the comment section. George P. Brooks said facts. He said, fine can't be fab. Kenneth said, character and looks, bro, come on, LOL. Big shout out to Kenny as well, good brother out of New York City. Also, he said, God bless you both. You guys are amazing. That's come that he said, God bless you both. We are amazing. So big shout out to Kenny. Go ahead.
One more thing. Y'all, we are a month away. Texans, all Texans, we are a month away from our early voting. Please go out and vote. Before you go and vote, look up to see who's on your ballot. You can Google all of this. Research your candidates. Vote all the way down the ballot. But that's it.
Well, that's enough to say right there. Before we get off the air tonight, y'all know what I do. Whatever you drink, whether you drinking tea, coffee, wine, whatever you like to drink, toast, toast yourself, look yourself in the mirror, tell yourself I love you, tell yourself I got your back, tell yourself I am iconic, and toast yourself. It starts with you first. Also, I want to say this too. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they had tomorrow, and they didn't see tomorrow. Still live life like it's your last. We're going to be back here next Tuesday night here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. I want to give a big shout out to the fam, the mafia of Anna C., Coach Shay, and Kenny Primetime Williams. They be here with me on Tuesday nights. Y'all know that I've been doing shows on Wednesday night as well. Putting out this content is growing, the growth, the elevation here. You know, we have guests like Payton and many others have been chopping it up, hanging out with us. Great content, and it's been awesome. I thank everybody for their support. Stay humble, ladies and gentlemen. Always stay humble. Don't allow your ego and your pride, because pride will drop you, and that's going to be it. So I want you to have a great Wednesday night. Let me ask you this, Payton. I know you're an average book reader. What book would you encourage everybody to read that they need to read?
Just one?
Yeah, I mean, you got what, 1, 2? How many you got?
Okay, so the first one is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. That book cured my anxiety and depression, life changer. For beginning in finances, or just trying to understand the beginning parts and basics of financing or finances, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Those are must reads.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So, man, we're on the verge of something here, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all have a great night. Stay focused. Don't stay motivated. You're already self-motivated. So stay disciplined. Discipline brings on success. So we're going to see y'all here next Tuesday night here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. We'll be live streaming once again here on Facebook Live. Big shout out to Payton once again. Thank you. This is the More Than a Woman episode featuring her, because she was the queen of honor tonight. I don't want to say, don't say the queen of honor tonight. So I appreciate you, queen. I give you a roses to you right now. Much love, success to you, and keep doing what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. Peace, everybody, and much love.
Thank you.